Hello and welcome back to episode 4, part 2 of We the PPL. My name is Will Martin, and along with Jeff Salisbury here, we are beaming right out of Treaty 6 territory here in Saskatoon, but we have are delighted to have guests with us today from Treaty 1 territory over in Winnipeg. We have our coaching staff from Bonivital and executive director. We have executive director Steven Gzebb, men's head coach JB Pierazzi, and the women's coach Tonya Derkson with us. How's everyone doing over there? Steve, how you doing?
Good. Yeah, excited to hopefully get on the field and actually training soon. But yeah, doing well.
Awesome. How about you, JB?
All good, thank you. Yeah, same thing. Looking forward for the new season coming.
Excellent. And you, Tonya, how's things going?
Always good. Always busy. Looking forward for the snow to melt or the turf to get cleaned off.
Yeah, you think we should know better every year when it melts and we think it's over, but it never is. Just ongoing. So yeah, thank you so much for being with us. Like with some of the other interviews we've done so far, we'd like to just kind of jump in real quick, and maybe I'll throw this to Steve. Could you give us a little bit of history about Bonivital, the club, and kind of where it's come from and where you're at right now?
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, so it's come a long way from when it first was started. For what I know, it was initially came to be as back in 1979, and it was actually called St. Boniface St. Vital Soccer Association, which is then amalgamated into what is Bonivital now. So it's kind of combination of the two. So that took place, and I want to say around 1997, as that's when I was able to find what our actual incorporation was as a legal entity. But before that, as part of Bonivital Flames, is part of our logo there too. You can kind of see the flame in that. But the Flames was a separate organization that ran in conjunction with St. Boniface St. Vital. And then they merged and kind of became one, where the Flames just strictly ran programming from 13 to 18 back at that time. And the St. Vital St. Boniface Soccer Association was more of what they would call as a community center back then. And yeah, is completely involved into this cradle to grave club that we run programming for now, from starting at 4 years old all the way up to senior men's and senior women's team now. And, I'd say at our peak during the year, we're at about 1,500 players from youth to adults. And, we've continuously grown year after year with adding teams, adding programs, constantly looking to grow on and off the pitch. So this is kind of that next step for us in that growth, not just within our club, but within our province, and something that we're so excited to be a part of to grow the sport in the game in Manitoba specifically, and provide those opportunities for those local players.
Fantastic.
No, that's awesome. Yeah.
And you've got 2 national titles to your name as a club, 3 silvers, 3 bronze placings, a lot of history in multiple levels of the club there. Yeah,
there is a lot of history. I mean, I think, going back through the history, there's a lot of provincial titles, and a lot of national success back in the 2010s leading into the 2020s. And yeah, I think there's Bonivital is a well-known name club within Manitoba. Again, it's been around a long time, and it's really built on the back of a lot of people who are just so loyal, and just people who were involved back in the 90s are still around and still wanting to participate and still kind of pushing that along. But yeah, a lot of success on the field, and I think that's something we're hoping that kind of translate into this new league here as well. Because I mean, back in which day was it? Back in the mid 2000s, we were recognized as one of the top clubs in Canada by Canada Soccer. So again, it's just trying to continue to put the name on the map in different levels for us is something we're super proud of. And it's for myself, I've been involved with the club for 10 years now. Started out as a coach and been in this role as the executive director for about 4 years now. And yeah, just trying to continue to build on the successes of everyone before me. And again, just trying to continue that pride of the club of those people.
Oh, that's neat. So I was thinking we would pop in and take a look at both the coaches. And Tonya, I thought we'd start with you on the women's side. So I was hoping you could give a little bit of background on yourself, your coaching history, I know that recently you were coaching with the Université de Saint-Boniface. How was my French, JB?
It was good. It was good.
Perfect. Yeah, so I know you were coaching futsal with Université de Saint-Boniface, and have a lot of other coaching accolades as well. But you'd probably be able to give this this biography of yourself better. So, what's your coaching history look like?
Well, I've been coaching in Manitoba, in Winnipeg, for just, I would say, close to 25 years, actually. It's over 20 years for sure. And I started coaching with a local academy, so unsanctioned academy. You know, we're all a fan of those. So that's where I kind of got my start. And then from there, I kind of grew through the ranks and started working with the provincial program with Rob Gale. And then I started working at the Manitoba Soccer Association under Rob Gale, and with Chris Lorenko. And so then from there, I ended up at Bonivital as the assistant technical director for a couple of years. So I did actually start coaching with Bonivital in 2012 as a volunteer coach. And then I got on there as technical staff after the MSA. So, and then I held that, and then I was the first female technical director in Manitoba for St. Charles Soccer Association. So I had that opportunity. And then from coaching wise, I've been to nationals with Bonivital, I think 3 or 4 times, won numerous MSA Cups. And then I've coached with the provincial program, Manitoba All-Stars in Saskatoba, if you ever remember that name. Yeah, I was working with Saskatoba with Astrid from University of Regina, Adele, who's also out in Saskatoon, and Hugh Morris, love that guy. So some Saskatchewan names for you guys. And then from there, I kind of I went back to Bonivital after leaving working in soccer full time, and I just wanted to coach. So Steven, I went in there, and I started coaching with Bonivital and under Steven's executive director role. And then I took on Les Rouges, and I'm still coaching with them. So I still do that because it happens in different seasons. So, and when this opportunity presented itself, I was like, yes, because I think it's a great opportunity for the players, and it's a great pathway to build on. So that's my long history. Like I feel like I've been around longer than I've been playing, but it's probably I've been playing since I was 3. So grew up here, played here, and now I coach here, and I love to watch the players grow. So this is a natural next step.
Pleasing you've come. So out of the clubs in the league, you're one of the few that are growing upwards continually here. So you're getting to see those players that maybe in the past, if some of your players have gone and played with FC Manitoba and WSA Winnipeg, but now they can stay put and be with you. So that's got to be pleasing.
Yeah, it is very cool. It's very cool to see players that. One of them, I've coached a local player that we're going to be signing this week. I've coached her since she started at Bonivital, and now I get to see her through. Like I got to watch her graduate from the University of Regina, and now I get to see her here on the pitch in this inaugural season. So it's a blessing to see a player grow from cradle to grave. So it's great.
Mm-hmm.
That's awesome. Well, we'll come back to your players in a second, but first I just wanted to ask about the rest of your coaching staff and any information that you can let us know about who the rest of your coaching staff is going to be.
Well, Jeff Sini is going to be one of our assistant coaches. So he is one of the infamous goalkeeping coaches here in Manitoba, has coached probably almost every goalkeeper that's come through the ranks. So he's going to be the assistant coach and primary goalkeeping coach. And then we're just finalizing some of the other staff. I believe Steven, I don't know if I can name the other one yet.
Give us an exclusive.
Yeah,
give us the exclusive.
You could probably throw it out there, but we haven't officially announced it on our end. Just working through other pieces, but I think
maybe by the time this airs, who knows? But otherwise, the second assistant will be William Rosales, who is the assistant coach out of the University of Manitoba. Has amazing coaching accolades. I think he holds his National A as well. So a star-studded staff coming through with the women's program.
Perfect. Well, Will quickly leaks that to every social media platform he can. So why don't we actually go back to the squad that you're putting together? Do you have any info about what that squad's going to look like that you can share with us, whether it's players or
We can't name players yet, right, Steve?
Yeah, well, we haven't officially like they need to sign on the dotted line with the actual contract, and we need to submit that to the league, which we are doing Wednesday. So yeah, we haven't gone public with any of the player announcements yet, but I think we can kind of speak to just how the roster came to be in the history of the players. They are a lot of homegrown players. There are some players not, but I think, you know, yeah, with our youth history, we have a lot of talent. Players that have graduated through, gone on to universities and colleges and whatnot. Yeah, I don't know if we'll release any names yet, but yeah, I think we could certainly talk about how the roster came to be and kind of what the somewhat of the construction is. So
Sure. Are you expecting a large number of players that are from the club to make up the bulk of the squad for this first season, or is there going to be a pulling players from all over the province, from other provinces? What do you expect that kind of final squad to look like?
So I can speak to that. So I would say it's probably about close to 50%, a little bit less than that are local Bonivital players that grew up through playing Bonivital or have transferred into Bonivital, players who started with Bonivital and transferred out. But a lot of them are former Bonivital players. We do have a couple, I would say 98% of our players are local, with a couple of players coming in from out of province, one coming in from the States and another one coming, I'm not sure where she was born, but Stephen would maybe know a little bit more. But lots of the players, we do have a good blend between local university as well as universities playing across Canada and some playing through the States. So we have a good range of players. A lot of them are third to fourth year players. Some of them even graduated recently from their institutions. So it is a good team with a lot of depth, a lot of senior players who are able to provide experience to the younger players. I would say 90% of the team I've coached through their youth years, so I do know them personally as players, and I've got the opportunity to track them and train them in their off season in a training program that I've ran. So they come home and I get the opportunity to work with them, with Raf O'Heen when he was home. So it was a really interesting tryout, having about 45 players register for tryouts and more still coming, and having to make hard decisions of players that I've known for years. So I think it's going to be a great roster once it's announced. It'll be very exciting for our community and for the city.
Right. That'd be interesting to see. So I suppose by the time that this episode is released, that it's going to be old news potentially, that there might be some player names that are already starting to filter out, but we'll see by that point. So just with regards to the way that you like to coach and the way that you like your teams to play, what should we expect to see from the Bonivital women's PPL side when they're on the pitch? What type of playing style do you prefer? You don't necessarily have to get deep into tactics. Majority of the other managers told us specifically they would not be doing so, and I respect that. But at least a kind of an idea of playing style that you would prefer to see on the pitch from your team.
Well, my playing style is no secret. I've been around for a long time, and a lot of the people get to watch me because I coach at the local university circuit here. So I'm very much a coach that loves to play through the thirds. Like, I love to find overload, switch to play, patient attack. But I'm also the type of coach that builds an environment to allow our players to read the other teams, break down their strengths, capitalize on areas that like during games that we can look to overload or go attack it at a quick pace if we need to. So it's all dependent on the opposition. So I train the players to understand who their opponents are and how they play, and then set my team up to play against them, but very much relying on that possession kind of style game, but possession with a purpose, not just to possess. So that's kind of my style.
Perfect. So maybe we'll be seeing some dynamic wing backs, some inverted wing backs.
I love those lines. We always need I don't know why. Who tells their players to park the bus? Like, it's 2026, man. Like, let's get forward here.
Perfect.
Yeah.
All right.
we knew from a couple of weeks ago. We mentioned it in an earlier episode here. We were blown away with the coaching appointments across the board. You've gone full on for coaches, as you mentioned, the experience that's there, and amongst others, like you just laid down the cards for everyone else. So we'd like to turn over to JB here to talk a little bit about the men's side in the PPL. But could you give us a little bit more of a background about yourself? Because you've got a very different path to most of the other coaches in the league here.
Yeah, so I retired 4 years ago now. I've played professional soccer until I was 37 years old. I had the chance to play at one of the best level in Europe, which was the first division in France. I also accomplished a dream of playing in the MLS. It was one of my dreams, going in the US and play there. So I was lucky enough to do that. And yeah, like I said, I retired 4 years ago. I transitioned into a coaching staff. So I became first an analyst. I was a tactical analyst for a team in Cyprus, and that was good because I believe it helped me a lot in seeing the game a little bit from a higher position, and be able to give tactical plan to a head coach. It was a very good experience, and from there I went back to my team where I was the captain there in Ligue 1, Ajaccio. So yeah, I joined their staff as an assistant coach there. The club was in second division in France. So I was the assistant coach there for a year and a half. And yeah, last year, I would say in November, I started to have some discussion with some staff members of Valor FC, which was Patrick Di Stefani, the goalkeeper coach, and then Phil Dos Santos, the head coach. They were looking for a new assistant. They wanted something that had a good experience at a high level. So I was, I think, a good candidate for them. And then same thing, like I've always liked the North America mentality. So I thought it was a good time for me to come back in that continent, and I accepted the job. Unfortunately, it didn't end up the way we all wanted to be. So yeah, and there I am now at Bonivital. I was trying to stay in Winnipeg, bring some stability to my family. I have a wife and I have a 6-year-old daughter, and at 6 years old of age, she has already lived in 3 different countries. So we wanted her to have some stability, and also, yeah, we like Winnipeg with my family. I won't say it's the weather, but
it's the mosquitoes, right?
Yeah, but definitely the people, the people here are one of the main reasons why I wanted to stay. And yeah, and then with first discussion with Steven, tried to get a sense of what was the club, what was Bonivital, what was the project behind all of this. I was attracted, and when this opportunity came, I thought it was the right moment for me to step in, and because I believe that being part of something brand new like that, being able to build something and leave a mark, I think that's great. You know, I believe that in sports, working in sports gives us a chance that we might not have in other industry. It's being able to be part of history, and that's something that I wanted to be and to do. So yeah, that's how I am now in Bonivital.
That's fantastic. Oh, I know Canada and especially Winnipeg are very happy to have you. So.
I appreciate that. Yeah, thank you.
Talking history, am I right? Did you play for the Corsican national team?
I did. I have some caps. So it's not an official international team because we still belong to France. but we have our own national team, and we actually played against big nations like Bulgaria. We beat Bulgaria. We beat Nigeria, some African teams, and we have great players playing for that team.
Yeah, and so were you playing in that Bulgaria? That's a famous victory.
I was playing there. I was playing.
That was like Ludovic Julie that scored. It was a screamer shot from outside the box.
Long shot. And it was a big game. And like I remember, the head coach was Lothar Matthäus, the famous German player, and I'm not sure, but I think he got fired after that game. They were preparing the World Cup, and then
Oh, spectacular.
Well, what can you tell us about the rest of who makes up the rest of your coaching staff on the men's side?
So as Tonya said, we will have Jeff Sini as our goalkeeper coach. So he'll be in charge of the goalkeeping. Then we're still finalizing my assistant coach. We are very close to finalize that. And then again, it's part of something that I want. It's to bring the coaches from the club and come with me, train the guys here. So it will be part of their development. So that's something that we want to do as a club. And I love that idea because it's the best way, to improve people. Yeah.
And so is it a similar situation to what Tonya was saying with the squad composition, similar or different? Is it a makeup of youth players, maybe some university players, and maybe some people from out of town?
It's slightly different because we don't have a men's university team. We have San Boniface, but we don't have like the University of Manitoba team that compete at a different level. So obviously, we're going to have to look at some players for Université de Saint Boniface, but most of them are playing in other universities out of province, in some other province. And then, we will definitely look at local talents. There are talents actually in Winnipeg. I have the chance also to be part of the Rex program here, and I can see the young players that are able to play at a good level. I've also now been watching a lot of games from the Major League of Manitoba, of Winnipeg. So that's how the team will be looking. I think mainly will be players from Winnipeg, and then we still want to bring some experience with players that have playing experience in good universities in other provinces.
Perfect. And in terms of playing style, is there a Bonivital way that and maybe this is a question for Steve as well, is there a Bonivital vision or a way for playing, or is it very much on the head coaches here?
I mean, our style of play is kind of what Tonya talked about. We're a possession team. A possession club. We like to be able to build out of the back. We want our players to be put into scenarios and situations where they can figure it out and not just play. We don't want to play direct. We're not looking to play over the top. We want to train players that are capable of getting themselves out of tough situations. So for us, it's just being able to have dynamic players. Typically I would say we like to play a 4-3-3. I would say we like to also play a little bit more of a forward attacking. Our second formation is a 3-5-2. So we like to play on the front foot and get forward. But I mean, for both Tonya and JB with their experience and their coaching credentials, who am I to tell them how they should run their teams? But both of them understand what we are at our club. They've both been a part of it, and I think they'll look to kind of carry that forward. But I mean, for them, again, we're happy to learn from them as a club, and we're so fortunate to be able to have two very qualified and experienced coaches to be able to lead these inaugural teams into the season. And I'd be hard pressed to think that anyone could touch us on the coaching staff front. So they kind of know what we're about, but certainly they have the freedom to do what they want to do with their teams, because it can be all player based too, right? You need the players to be able to play in the systems that they want to implement. So
yeah, well, yes,
So,
we'll stay neutral on that, on the question of the best coaches, but yes.
Yeah. So JB, I'm curious, what's your vision for how you want your squad to play? Do you have specific tactical plans that you want to see to make sure that your team is able to perform while they're out there? Do you have any particular ways that you want to make sure that your team is playing?
Yeah, I'm inspired by the positional play. So as Steven was saying before, what we want from our players, and it's gonna be the same in my team, it's to have players being able to read the game, understand the game, and take the right decision at the right moment. So that's how we wanna train our players. So it will be a lot of, like I say, in the positional play, you have to figure out how to create the space, how to fill the space, how to drag an opponent, how to create superiorities also. So it's a lot about thinking while playing. But that's the football that I like. I want to, like we said before, like me too, I want my team to have the ball, but I don't want my team to have the ball just to say, oh, we had 70% of the possession at the end of the game, but we still lost 1-0 because they got us in counter-attack, you know? So we want to possess the ball just to move the opposition and find them the leaks that we could create into their block, try to stretch the block of the opposition as we can, and then being smart with the ball, you know. But first, what I want is an organized team, discipline too on the defensive side. I want my team to be very disciplined. But what I want the most is to create a culture. I want a team that lives together, that fights together, that represents the club, the values of the club. So that will be like my main thing. What else could I say? I don't want to say too much, but I'm kidding.
No, that's great.
But yeah, I mean, yeah, that's the way we want to play. We want the player to be brave on the ball. You know, we don't want players to hide from the ball. We want them to have the courage to ask for the ball. As in the same way, we want them to have the courage to press if we have to press. You know, then it will depend of the opposition, of course, but we still want our team to have their own style of play.
Wonderful. And I think we confirmed with the other two Winnipeg teams. I think they're both playing at the Ralph Contafio complex there. Do you have your home ground set? Is it at Memorial Field? Are you able to confirm that?
Yeah, we're fortunate to have our own facility. We have our own clubhouse. We have our own turf field, a little bit of grass field there. So yeah, we got approval to be able to host games at our host facility. So we're pretty excited about that. To be able to have these games here where our youth players train and play their own games too. So again, it's just really, you know, we've tried to really build a community, build that culture where everybody knows everybody. We have all of our teams train there throughout the week and everything. So yeah, to be able to now host these games here, have out of province teams, have other, you know, local teams there that come to us is, we're pretty fortunate, and we're pretty excited to be able to kind of show off our facility to everybody else for those that haven't seen it. So yeah, super fortunate to have that.
Yeah, I'm hoping that I'll be able to make a trip out to Winnipeg to see both of those facilities, especially the one in St. Boniface. I think it'll be quite the interesting facility to visit. So we do get questions in from our loyal subscribers, and I thought we'd move on to that portion of the online mailbag. And so I'll start with one. It's for JB.
Yeah.
And so you've worked with young Canadian players in your coaching career when you were with Valor. So what are the main things that you see that young Canadian players need to work on to be at the same level of other young talent globally? And I'll probably speak to France in this case. What do you see as maybe the primary deficiencies with younger Canadian players that we really need to work on here for them to kind of get to the same level as their peers?
Yeah, I would say that it's a little bit of technique. I think the first touch, like where maybe in France they will play in 2-touch, they might need 3 or 4 touches here. So I think a little bit of technique. And then one of the biggest thing that I've noticed last year, especially in like real competition games, it's actually that anger, that but the positive, I mean, the winning mentality that we can have maybe in France. So here it's a little bit more peaceful, I would say. The atmosphere in France could be really, really aggressive depending on the place where you will play. Here it's less aggressive, and I could feel that into the players, maybe, I'm not saying that they don't go full and they don't go 100%, but that thing that will like make you maybe make a difference at some point, that's what I've noticed last year.
Interesting. And so essentially the same question for yourself as well, Tonya, in working with a lot of young players, whether it's with Les Rouges at Université de Saint-Boniface or with other youth clubs and in your academy, what have you noticed is the main thing that players here need to work on and to improve on?
I think on the female side, a lot of it is the creativity and just having the confidence to go into tackles or to take players on one-on-one or to defend players on like one-on-one. So a big thing for me is just encouraging them and giving them that environment to be able to try those things and to train at game pace. So that's one big thing that I try and instill in all the environments that I coach on, whether it was youth or in the university groups or the training programs, is you need to train at the pace that you play. So, and then with that, I give players, like basically what I say to my players is I provide the framework and the methodology, you provide the talent and the creativity. So like that's the environment that you have to come into and train at that 100% every single day. Whatever your 100% is, you need to leave it on the pitch every single time. So again, it's like with JB, that environment and creating that competitive environment. And I think with Bonivital having the men's teams and the women's teams still in their, I'm sure, Steven, you're still having the MMSL teams, like those, we have players knocking on the door for the PPL because we have that framework that builds into the PPL from senior teams. So there's always somebody knocking on the door for somebody's spot if they're not performing. So I think that's going to be the benefit for JB and myself going into the seasons to come.
Well, yeah, so we have the next question is to JB. You mentioned before you have a history in analytics when you're with Ethnikos Akna and Athletic Club Ajaxui. But the question is, what does that job entail? So what is analytics in football for those that haven't really delved into that? And then secondly, is that something that the club on the men's and women's side are adopting and embracing at St. Bonivital there?
So it's a large job, I would say, but mainly it's to watch games. Like you have to split the job. So first you're gonna watch the opposition, and then you're gonna prepare a plan and give a plan to the head coach that will adapt by the way he wants to do it. So it's a lot of watching games and analyzing the lines and how the team is playing, how can they hurt your team, and how your team will be able to hurt them. And then it's a lot of assessment from your own team too, watching a lot of trainings. So the coach or the staff is trying to achieve something in training. Then at the end of the session, we will rewatch the training and see if we actually achieved what we wanted to do. So again, it's analyzing the behaviors, not only of one player, but maybe of lines, the defenders, midfielders, attackers. And depending on the topic of the day, then same thing, giving something to the head coach to work with the players on the next day.
Fantastic. And so I guess I can pass it to Steve or Tonya. Is that so? The analytics it's grown into the game. It's a very important part of the game. And maybe this turns into another question that we have here too, which is, what do you know about the other teams in the league here? So, if from an analytics standpoint, how do you go about preparing for playing teams with so little information? Maybe I could pass that to you first, Tonya.
Well, again, I grew up coaching here, and I've been coaching here in the past number of years, and I know most of the players at this age that are signing to the PPL teams. So I'll be able to have an understanding of how the style of that those players play. From the coach's standpoint, I have a pretty good idea of the tactics that they're going to play, but really it comes down to just understanding what our team is capable of, and then knowing what the other teams are capable of, and then having that idea. But Bonivital has a great system where we have the perfect setup for VOs, where we can watch our game. We have inter squads already set up. We have I have a friendly already set up against an older team here that goes to nationals every year for senior women's nationals. But it's just kind of grinding down our team into knowing exactly what style we're going to play versus that opposition, and then understanding those players. So once FC Manitoba announces their signings, I'll be able to kind of have an idea where those players are going to play based off their university teams, as well. Having access to video footage is very accessible, so we'll be able to access video of those players playing together. So with Lucania having a bunch of the Saskatchewan players there, we're able to watch some video of a couple of their key players who I've seen live play versus Regina and University of Manitoba previously. So it's kind of nice to have that background and having a lot of local players.
Yeah, that's a big asset for sure.
So with your coaching experience within futsal, someone asked what you feel you can bring from having coached futsal to coaching this team.
Well, I coach 11v11 too. Futsal is only 2 months of our season, but futsal is just a very technical game. I think futsal and soccer are two different sports, and I think that us in Prairie provinces, we're leaning more towards futsal because we're 4th-season provinces. But futsal is a very technical sport, so in that aspect, that's fantastic. But lots of players don't translate to futsal because they've never played it regularly here. So we won't train a futsal style game, but the tight areas and the decision making is key. So the players who have played futsal will have that ability, that transferable knowledge, as well have a little bit more of that leg strength coming out of futsal season because of the heavier ball and training on a gym floor. But for most of the players coming home from out of province, many of them haven't played futsal, or in the States, they don't play a futsal style game. They're playing 11v11 still right now. So being able to switch those gears from futsal to 11v11, it happens pretty seamlessly for myself, and my Les Rouges team starts training in May already for the outdoor season. So it's a seamless transition from futsal to soccer for me, but for the players, the focus is 11v11.
This is a fun one that we got in, and this is specifically for you, JB, is do you have any goal celebration advice for your players after they score?
No, I was a defensive midfielder, so I didn't score a lot of goals. And every time I scored a goal, I didn't know what to do. So I will let them choose their own celebration.
Perfect. Tonya, anything from you for that? Do you have
you have to celebrate the goals.
Oh yeah.
To celebrate every single goal that's put in the back of the net. You got to celebrate them. So sometimes in the game of football, they don't happen so often.
Yeah, I had a laugh when I saw that one come in, so I'll have to thank them for sending that one.
Well, I got a question. I guess this I'll aim this towards Steven maybe. So where do you see the teams, Bonivital men's and women's teams, in 5 years' time? And maybe all three of you can answer, but I'll send it to Steve first.
Yeah, I mean, I hope that this league continues to, I don't know if I want to say grow in teams wise, but I think grow in demand from players and those more players that want to come up and come through. Like, I think for us is just continuing to have that pathway within our club for our players. And you know, this for us, like Tonya noted, we have our senior men's, we have 2 senior men's teams and the women's teams on top of these 2 new teams. And again, I think it's just continuing to be able to have that flow, and that for those players when they're getting 15, 16, 17, they want to be wanting exciting to play on those PPL teams. So I think for us is just, we don't want this to necessarily just be a flash in the pan, the cool thing on that's trendy in year 1, year 2. Can we keep building it? Can we keep making it more exciting, more important, more something that people want to be a part of? Right. And I think that's just something that we can kind of continue to grow, and selfishly for us, like, just have as many Bonivital graduating players on the team as possible. Right. We want to keep having that influx and that true pathway where we're not always having to feel like we're having to pull in players in different directions. It's just, you know, having those players come right up through our youth system and making that jump right onto these teams. And again, I think it's just for us is trying to continue to move the needle just in our province of soccer and providing those opportunities for these kids, because as JB mentioned, we don't have a youth sports team for males in our province, which is just crazy. So again, for us to be a part of potential solution into providing that extra pathway is something that we're really proud of and excited for hopefully the players for the next, you know, many years to come.
Absolutely. Yeah, it's all about the pathways and leveling up here. So JB, did you have anything to add on that, where you want to see the team within 5 years?
No, like Steven said, I mean, it's so important for the province now to have that league, both for men's and women's. I would say in the men's side, what I would love to see is to have one of the PPL team competing in the CAN champ, because the other league ones, they have that chance. So why not here? That would be awesome to maybe bring an MLS team someday here. So yeah, that would be like the perfect picture.
Perfect. Yeah, and I think
who would you like to bring in? Who would be your dream draw in that competition?
I don't have a dream draw, but that would be funny to have Montreal.
Perfect.
Yeah, and Tonya, that way, maybe on a similar line to that, there is no equivalent V Cup for women. We were talking about that the other day, and hopefully that is something that manifests itself over time there. But maybe in 5 years, that's something we have a goal for, or maybe we have 3 Winnipeg clubs now that are feeding into an NSL club in Winnipeg in a few years' time. Maybe that's a 5-year dream. What's on the plat for you?
I think that's just it, like creating more pathways for female soccer, for male soccer in Manitoba, but also creating more pathways for female coaches. So I don't know, FC Manitoba hasn't announced their coaches yet, so I don't know if they're announcing any of the female coaches, but you know, I want to see more women's coming up through the ranks. So having these teams is going to provide more opportunity. So more opportunity for female to step up and coach the women's team. One day, I always say I would love for a female to take my job one day. That's always the goal of us as coaches, is that we want the next people to come and take our jobs and replace us and be better than us. And then with the NSL coming in, you know, can it create just more opportunities for females to be sitting in this chair and having that opportunity to go for their A license. I was one of 10 women when I did my B license in 2013. I was one of 2 women, one being Alex Valerio, who works with Canada Soccer Coach Education now. So like, those are the types of doors that these leagues open, not just for players, but for coaches as well, or for administrators in the game that are female. So that's kind of my 5-year plan. Can somebody replace me one day? Although I love it, I don't want to be replaced. I don't want to be replaced. I haven't even started yet.
Okay, so Will, do we hire the plane for their first match to fly over and say Tonya out? Going over the pitch, is that the plan? Or
give me 3 at least, because you know it will be top of the table, so I won't get out yet.
Yeah, I'll just add
fair.
on to that, guys. It was super important for us like to have a female head coach for our inaugural team of this too. And, with the connection with Tonya, with our club and the certifications and experience she has, it was kind of a no-brainer. And like, it was super important for us to have that, because that's a big part of our pathway, not just for providing opportunities for the players, but like Tonya said, is for the coaches and for the female leaders in the sport. We were fortunate enough to have Tonya as an assistant technical director, but then we had Amy Harrison, who was our first, probably full-time female technical director, who's now gone off and done great things in Denmark with her professional career. But we've seen the impacts of having female leaders, just even as coaches for our youth teams. It makes a big difference. It's important for the young female players to see those leaders in those positions, because hopefully, like Tonya said, we can continue to put more out there. And maybe it's not just the head coach that's a female, maybe it's both assistant coaches down the road too, right? It's super important. And I think we're really trying to do a big focus on integrating young female coaches within our club. And again, I think that's just a super important piece for us that we see as well as a part of it. So just wanted to touch on that too.
Yeah, no, I think that's going to be an important thing with this league moving forward, is seeing some of the new coaches come in and seeing what future opportunities hold, especially as, for example, the NSL expands across the country as well. So last two questions before we wrap up. First one is, and I'm not sure who to throw this one to initially, maybe we'll throw it to Tonya just for fun. So why should someone paying attention to the PPL pick Bonivital over Lucania or FC Manitoba to support for their Winnipeg club?
Bonnie has just a great community. Like, they're a community club. Like, they have a fantastic environment, having their own clubhouse, having their own stands, having just their own pitch. Like, you come there and it's just, you feel at home. So when I left the club, working in the club, I've always come back to Bonivital. And I would say most players do come back to Bonivital because it's home. Like, we are family based. The players come through Bonivital that are playing with us. We are proud of who we are. We're proud of where we sit within the city. And I would say that if you were to walk anywhere in Winnipeg, you'd see more Bonivital tracksuits than any other club here. So people are proud to be Bonivital players. Even if they leave, they're still proud of where they come from, without a doubt. So that is why people will be filling our stands every single time we have a home match, for sure.
All right, and JB, what are your thoughts? Why Bonivital over either of the other two Winnipeg clubs?
We will have the best kids in the league.
Yes.
No, but like
Excellent.
Tonya said, it's like, for me, it's kind of new. I'm new here in Winnipeg, but Bonivital was the only club that I knew from the youth and from the amateur level. So I didn't know any other ones. It was just Bonivital. So and like Tonya said, and Steve can even talk more about that, the club wants to create a very good atmosphere during the home games, and I think the fans will experience a very good time there. And I don't know about the other teams if they will create that kind of atmosphere, but it's the same as the way we want to play. We want to be our own style. We want to be our own club. And the experience that the fans will have here in Bonivital and at our stadium, I think it will be really good.
Perfect. And Steve, do you have anything to add to what Tonya and JB have said?
Yeah, again, I think, we're fortunate enough to have our own facilities, so we maybe have a little bit more flexibility and leeway with what we can kind of do at our facility in terms of game atmosphere and activities and things like that. So, I think we can be a little bit unique in that sense. And then, yeah, just to kind of touch on the community thing again, like we really pride ourselves on being able to offer programming for truly any age, any level, any desire. Whether you want to just play for 2 months of the year or you want to go 4 times a week for 10 months, we try to touch all different levels and all desires for whatever you're looking for in terms of soccer. And a program that we run is our All Abilities program, which is a program that's geared toward athletes with physical or cognitive disabilities. We're the only club in Manitoba that runs specific soccer program for that. So we literally try to provide programming for anyone and everyone. So again, I think that makes us really unique in that sense that, yeah, we touch any level of soccer here in Manitoba, Bonivital is known into it, whether again it's the senior leagues or we're training the 4 and 5-year-olds on the field, right, and everything in between. So again, I think we just have that atmosphere, that community sense, and just that truly soccer for all is kind of everything we really are proud ourselves on.
Yeah.
All right, perfect. So this is the last question, and I'm not expecting anything shocking in the responses. JB, I'll throw it to you first, but where is Bonivital men's going to finish in the final league table?
Yeah.
We will try to achieve the best season that we can. So obviously when you compete, you always want to win. So that's going to be the main objective of the season. I'm not going to hide and say, oh, we're going to just play for fun. We, like I said to the players, we will try to bring them as close as possible to the professional environment. And being in a professional environment, it means that you will need to compete and you will need to win games and playing for the win. This is different from recreational soccer. So we're not gonna hide, and I'm not gonna say that we will beat all the teams neither, because people are working well also in other teams. We are not the only club that's working in a good environment, but definitely will compete for the first place.
As you say, just say first, JB, and that'll be good.
I said that on July 13th.
Perfect. And Tonya, same question to you. Where are the Bonivital ladies going to finish at the end of the league?
My goal is always top of the table. So, the gold is always nice, but like JB said, we're not the only team, and to have a competitive league is always a league to develop players, because this is also a platform for players to showcase themselves. So top of the table is ideal, and that's where I plan to finish. And I'm sure the players will have that same mindset coming into the season.
Perfect. Hey, it's been an absolute pleasure having the three of you on to discuss Bonivital Flames heading into the inaugural PPL season. So Coach Tonya, Coach JB, and Executive Director Steven, thanks a ton for coming on and doing this with us.
Yeah, it's our pleasure. Thanks for having us.
Beautiful. All right. Well, this is Jeff with Will, and this was part 2 of episode 4 of We the PPL podcast. Thanks, everyone.